Right. Right, everyone. Actually, let me just full screen this. Right. I think what I will do is... hold on. So I'll just turn voiceover off. And the one thing I'm going to put on here for everyone is... blah, 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 blah. Where are we? Agenda. Quickly reverting agenda. Departments. Roles. Income. Rosemary. Things. Oops, crap! I put that in. All looked at. I should have brought my Bluetooth keyboard. Never mind. This is going to be a very, very scatty look at this whole thing because this was going to be. I was going to do a video call and I was going to kind of welcome our friend Daniel Adler to the scene, which because he's now working for us, well, freelancing. I want to kind of use that because yeah, with Daniel, he's freelancing for the company. So he's freelancing. Means he's not working full time because he's a retired artist. I'll put all this in the project viewer. Now, the project viewer is very scatty, and here's the thing I want you all to think of. The project viewer now is kind of old. It's seen its test of time. And what me and Andy were talking about yesterday was actually two things. And I will recall this on a video call, but I think if I just do a video of this and if I just make this video and put it out there now, and then you've all got it. I put it on the YouTube channel as well, so our customers can see. Because here's the thing, you know how we've worked in the past with the Outlook, which is very outdated. I've kept some of it, but it was all really, really scatty and all over the place. And we decided, let's do the project viewer, and then that became scatty and all over the place. Now, for me, I can do scatting all over the place. For me, that works fine. And I think for people like Adam and Andy, that works fine. But it doesn't work fine for everybody else. And the thing is, it doesn't look professional if you've got scatty, over-the-top stuff. Which is why we need to have a version of the project viewer which is great. And what I'm thinking is we do the project viewer in a... So it's still going to be called the project viewer. I'm not changing the name of that, but I'm changing the format. There'll be a list of projects, and within that it'll be done very like a feedback form. So, for instance, there'll be the project here. So, let's say, for instance, let's just say project, comma. Then on the next line, it will be, oh crumbs, what would we say on the next line would be? So we'd say we'd have in the project field, and then we'd say, let's say it was Creamfields, Cream Classics, Cream Classic. Oops, shit. Which is our last project one. I need to write about classics. I need to do the paperwork for it. Actually, I'm just going to do that. Oh no, hang on. I'm going to get rid of that. Full stop there. And on the next line, let's just say underneath that, we would put roles. Okay, so we put Daniel art work. Okay, and he was doing all the artwork on this. And then we put problems. And then maybe Daniel, say his problem was he didn't understand the project, so say Daniel would put I didn't understand the description of the project. This is an example, right? And then on the next line, let's say solutions. And say this is Daniel writing this, he would put I contacted Stephen and he explained the project. Stephen messaged me the second draft of the project, and so on and so on and so on. So you can see how that would actually go, because obviously, because what we can do as well is we can have for all the scatty shit. We're going to start using Band again, I think. There is an app that I tried to get, and I'm going to try and get it again for our team, and so we can talk to each other and keep communicating, even in the background. So we've got a rough idea of what we're doing. I need to set up our website, have a look at our website again, because we had a staff forum on there, and if we could just use that as a digital lull, if you want, and then the digital wall, which is like the board, because I've got no whiteboard at the moment, so I can't just stick projects up on a board like I used to do. So I think for that we need a task manager, which I think we could stick. Not a task manager. Frick, what's it called? Because my whole idea of the project viewer last year was to stick all of the project, the problem sheet, and everything. I think with the idea of we've got here, I think that's going to be kind of what I'm thinking. Because scatty notes you could stick on the bottom. You could stick a scatty notes section, and in there you could say, for example, you could say, you could put, say, Scatty notes section, and in here it'll be on the next page. And here you can put Rosemary we will discuss holidays. I'm going off to research product for stepping stones. So this is all scatty bullshit, basically. This is just kind of the stuff that we would. But the thing is, when you've got it in the project view and you go around and then you just delete it, you think, yeah, that's not needed. Whereas, I think for me, to have the whole feedback thing, and then to look at it and go, right, this is the project. Now, for the case of the Cream Classics, there was no problems. The customer had a problem more than what we had, and we were the solution to the problem. But when you've got other, when you've got massive problems and no one's listened to the whole situation and all the rest of it, then that's where the whole thing comes in. But I would love in the wild for a document where everyone could just communicate on it, and I think that's probably what we're going to be doing with the next version of the project viewer, is to have a document where we all communicate on it. I think for this aspect, I just think there isn't really much that we can do when it comes to the whole thing. I think as well we might become a in-house advertisement company, or we'll be added to the list for Steve, Jamie's brother. He really liked what we did, and we've made it a big team effort. There wasn't just Daniel Adler. It wasn't me saying to Dan, Dan, can you do this job? And he's going, oh yeah, that's fine. What happened behind the scenes with that was I actually went home that night. I spoke to him, but I went home that night because he said, I'll get it done for you today, which is what he did. And he said he'd get it done. He said, give me everything and I get it started. And within a couple of days, the project was done. I was quite surprised how quick he had that done. But, because the thing is, if we've got someone like Daniel Adler doing stuff like that, pretty quick, and people are paying that, and then it's going to be the question of who's going to see royalties and all the rest of it. And Daniel is in the Stepping Stones group. We've got to understand that the projects that he does for me outside of Stepping Stones, the Radiant Advertisement, that's Radiant Advertisement projects, and he's getting, I'm still trying to fix some royalties up for it, but I'm not worried about it. If obviously, if he doesn't get any royalties for it, I'll just probably give him something for it anyway, because it went down like a storm and it sold out. That event sold out quicker than quick. The other project we did, which was a while ago, which was before we met Daniel, which was the Sefton Pride event, which I think you'll remember. And we faced a lot of problems with that. So with this, we face no problems at all. But here is the thing, right? And do we become a mustard media? Do we come from radiant advertisement to radiant media? You know, it's something that I think we should all be brainstorming on or concepting, whatever the term is. I prefer brainstorming because your brain just clashes with another brain, and or thought showering, whatever the frick you want to say, right? Now, obviously, this is me talking at you. We should have had a video call today, but I'm going to go in a minute and enjoy some sun and what have you. This is just kind of me. It's a bit of a scatty all over the place, this video. But yeah. And we're going to meet up in 3, 4, 5 weeks. I'm not entirely sure. I'm hoping it won't be long because and we'll be going to Rachel and Jamie's. We've still got our office, but we won't be going there till September. So what I'm going to do in this video is review the year. I'm going to do a whole yearly review, and I'll write it down properly and give you screenshots and all the rest of it. But to be frankly honest with you, this year has been a bit airsy, in my opinion, because we've had a bit of a bumpy start. If we can go all the way back to September, we had a bumpy start with Neil dying, and to be frankly honest, we may have had a review from last year, but the point I want to make is the financial costs from last year are, how can I put this? They're very, and to be honest, every time I go round to what was Neil's house, I keep seeing the Radiant advertisement stuff, and it's actually Ball and Mike and Hill Productions. That's what it was put on to, and I see the paperwork. I see all the bills that were put in our name, right? For that while, and we were paying. I hope you're all sat down for this, and I hope you've got all this writing down. We were paying, and bear in mind this is before we were technically not living there, but we were still working there. So I think we were working there up to November time. That was when we were supposedly have stopped living there. We were sort of still living there-ish up to December, but Mother rushed it, as you know, as what Mother does. So we were technically out of that office by November last year, and we were still paying the water rates, all the way up to December. But while we were there in the September, we were still paying the rates up to. It came up to. I think it was 200 and. I think it was £240 we were paying. That was the gas and electric, and then there was the. Then there was the money for the phone. The phone bill we were paying there was about. We paid it, so we'll just carry on paying that bill. So that's, when it comes to the odds, it's like, so literally, we were paying up to £400 or £500, uh, you know, and then we moved to Liverpool, and it may be a slight bit cheaper being in Liverpool. We've got half of it's rent free. It's not technically rent free. We're still paying the rates on top of that. Then you're paying the tax on top of that. So do the maths. Really just do the maths. It's sort of like it's the whole thing of and the whole thing of what's paying. Now, I did pay at the beginning of this year. I paid $5 or $6 for rent. We got a brand new account started this year. I've got 2 brand new accounts started this year, but this is something that I want to sit down and talk about properly, because the brand new accounts, they've actually started, yet nothing's going to be paid into one of those accounts till we get, till we thoroughly get, so there could be 12 grand sitting in there or whatever. I know what's going into the one, but I'm not going to say. So it's all in all, I think by towards the end of this year, I think we'll have up to 20, 30 grand of radiant advertisement money, which is a ridiculous amount of money for an ad agency our size. Now, if you think that's going to hurt you, and by the way, none of this is sitting on the screen. I should just literally, this is just me talking here, right? Maybe I should stick something on screen, but anyway, this is, I just want to get this video done out of the way, really. I don't want to be arsing around too much. But I basically said it how it is, all the financial costs and stuff, and that was before Christmas last year. And the thing that I didn't really want to mention to anybody, and I still don't really want to mention it, even on a video call, which is, what went up to. But this is just a video I'm making for, the video call that I'm going to do towards the end of this week, and that is, I sort of put my hand in my pocket to pay for the office, because it was like, and the money that we get from Neil, this is a sore subject. This really is. This is something that, even if I graphed it properly, it wouldn't look, I see financial things and I think, crumbs, but we didn't even, all the stuff that we've, because we didn't spend a whole lot on adverts, to be honest, last year. We spent more money on the bloody, re-registering and re-registering, and I don't know if Jamie wants to put our company in-house with his. It would make more sense if we did it that way, but we'll just have to see. We don't know what the future's going to bring. But And we didn't spend any money on the October ads. And we didn't see a lot of money for them either. Is this sinking in to anybody yet? Is this sinking in? Is this going, ouch? Is people going, in fact, I will put on screen now Instagram. Let's see, that would have been... This is going to look wrong, but, just bear with me. 1, 2, 3. And then, what was the other one? Facebook. Would have been in November last year, would have been... Oh shit, let me put the pound sign. Would have been... 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9. Would have been that. And TikTok, which we didn't do, but let me just think now. I think that was quite low. If crumbs, let me put the pound sign in. I think that was a bit lower, wasn't it? One, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. And they were the social media prices, and I think I did a video explaining all that, but things have changed. Obviously, social media prices, they've rocketed up, and nobody wants to pay all that stuff anymore. And who could blame them? You know what I mean? It's like you look at the social media market. I mean, everybody loves TikTok because with TikTok it sells quickly. Short form video, you grab people via that, video advertising. It's like with Google ads and stuff like that. And it's like, I think Google ads were Google ads is a weird one because it seems to go, a lot of agencies tend to be like, with the Google ads, it's like, and then the whole thing about the ad search or a key search term, then it's email marketing's another one, to advertise in email. So I think I'll do another video explaining all that properly. But things go up and down, and I think from November last year, we'd flopped on a whole Facebook thing on the back of that, and then we were falling off the back of the whole Instagram thing, because the whole, because how fast, like, there's people view it, and it's how quick it's the whole thing. What you have to remember is the whole thing with the click through rate and the interaction. It's not about views. It's about engagement. It's about engagement. We don't give a shit about views, because views are just like, it's like when you walk past a shop window and you look at an ad and it's like, yeah, I viewed it. When you view something, do you care about it? No. But even if you do care about it, it's interaction. Yeah? And it's the thing with... and it's like... You know, it's like things with like YouTube, for example. You know, views, subscriptions, likes, all this. You know, it's not... You know, are you buying a product at the end of the day? Are you valuing somebody? And if the answer is no, then what the frick are you doing? Just give me a moment, guys. I didn't know the door was going to go. Give me 2 shakes. I was only Miguel from Pudding and Pie. I'm not advertising for him. He costs too much. Phew. Let me have a look what time I'm on. No crumbs, it's 4 o'clock. Four o'clock, so I'll need to shoot out in 1 moment. So yeah, I do need to make this pretty brief. That's the thing really with you know, and that's the thing with ad agencies, you know, with views are good, yeah, likes are good, subscriptions are good. And that's not just with YouTube, that's with all services, you know, be Facebook, would it be Twitter, whatever, all social media. And that's why YouTube's classed as social media, because if you haven't got likes or views or subscriptions or any form of engagement, you know, but it's all about revenue. Revenue is what the word I'm looking for. Revenue is, are you taking action? Are you calling that number? Are you taking it down? Are you noting it down? That's why ads need to be loud and proud. You know, they need to be bright, or you know, if it's on television where it's loud. And this goes from the late 90s. And so revenue, people. I'm going to put that on the screen now. Revenue. Anyway. So there you go. And that's what's important. And that's what's really important about YouTube, social media. If you're putting out there, if you're advertising, even if you're just doing something small and you're saying, hey, this is something I want to display. I want to get those bums on the seats. And so here's the question. Why do you come to an ad agency? Why do you come to us? Why do you go to anybody? You know, why? And here's the question. Why did Cream Classics sell out? I'll tell you why it sold out. Because people didn't just look at that ad. That wasn't just a pretty ad. That ad was saying, go on, this is what's on, this is the artist, this is, this is the time, this is the places, this is the whole thing. You've got everything in that whole ad for someone to go, because they could have just gone, oh yeah, it's another event, isn't it? Yeah, Cream Classics, yeah, it'll be on next year, won't it? Joe, it's like the whole thing. Right? It's like Creamfields. Creamfields is a big one. Sells out. Why does it sell? Because the ad is everywhere and it's in your face and down your throat. And that's what you need to do with an ad. Is it the scroll test? But it's not just about the scroll test. It's about, even if it's on a wall, think, right, if that was in a shopping centre, would people just, be looking at it? Or would they be taking action? Yeah? And that's our job. Our job is to, when I hear that an ad sold out, or that event sold, that to me is like, wow. But it's not just wow. It's like, why? Why? Why did it sell? Because that's the question I was asking. Why did it sell? They could have gone to another ad agency. But why come to us? So, and it's a good thing. And I want to fast forward to this year, but going back to last year, I think we were very dull with ads last year. I think we were falling into the sloppy category with our ads last year. I think our ads last year were just like, they could have been anything. And I love all the work we do, even the trash. Because the trash helps you improve. And that can go for anything. Video, art, photography, whatever. Right? Here's the thing. Now, we don't usually publish our reviews, but I want people to understand where we're coming from as an ad agency. And the finances are pretty ugly for any company. Moving on, moving forward. But, and I think where we are in Liverpool's great. But people were saying, for train fares, bus fares, we got you covered. Have you noticed that, the people that work for us, have you noticed that I don't charge anybody for parking? Yeah, let that stuff sink in. Because when we moved in September, I checked everything out. How much is it going to be for trains? How's it going to be on buses? All the rest of it. Right? I mean, Adam, he's moving to Liverpool next year, so that'll be nothing for him. But I'll always get you, I know Rosemary, Andy and Adam, you guys are coming with me in a few weeks. And we're going to have a management meeting. And it'll just be what you're hearing now, really. just what you're hearing now. But I think this video will help everybody. The reason I'm putting this out there is because I want to show the good, the bad, and the ugly with the agency. And I want to discuss the ugly stuff first, because the ugly stuff is literally finances, and technically, I haven't actually gone back further than that, because I wanted to go back to March, April, May, June. Why were we spending 3 months working on a freaking website? Let's just let that sink in, because I've had a look at it and nothing was being done. And you can go back and you can look on the Facebook and you can see nothing was being done. And I should have stood back and said, look, I'm not working for you guys because I want to focus on Neil. But I didn't. I was being suffocated by my job. I mean, you all know this, by the way. You all know this, but I just want to let it sink in. And now, I want to focus on me. And to focus on me, I've got to think, right, how is my empire going to thrive and survive? Add everything into the equation. Obviously, that's a whole other video to be made right there. But if we're just talking about radiant advertisement alone, I was doing a lot behind the scenes. I would come in overnight, check everything. Because I never got a chance to pop my head round on the door, because the mornings were get up, have breakfast, get up, do the gym, come back, have breakfast, do the bathroom, and by the time I came down, it was lunchtime. So I didn't have a chance, because in the mornings, and we were getting up about 8 or 9 in the morning, coming to the gym, then going back, having breakfast, going in the bathroom, oh shoot, it's lunchtime, but then in the afternoon, and it'd be like, I'd be either sitting with Neil or whatever. So it just, when the night time came, was the chance where I could literally go in the office and do what I needed to do. And to have 3 months on a website. 3 months! Do you know what I mean? And it's embarrassing. And my mother was coming and doing a lot of the work. And she wasn't just cleaning. She was not just cleaning. She was doing... she was helping out with some of the bills. Some of the work that Rosemary was not doing. The work that you weren't doing, Rosemary, Mother was doing. So why do you think I pay Mummy more? That's embarrassing. Really is embarrassing. I want to move on, because this is ugly. This is an ugly topic, but I've got to cover it. Otherwise, it's not going to be, Now, and as you know, when Neil went into hospital, I was running around like a mad hamster. People saying, Stephen, you weren't doing it. I mean, to be honest, I couldn't do a lot. And that's all going to change, because I will do a lot, but then I'll do the stuff that I need to do. Ouch! That's obviously something you don't want to hear, but I want to change the way that, I want to change my health. Obviously, I've got to work on me a bit, and not just work on me, but work on everything around me, because It's all well wanting something and needing something, but let's say wants a big thing. Wow, we've got into this whole philosophical debate. We'll probably have that philosophical debate in the comments, no doubt. But yeah, and yeah, and not something I want to be discussing, to be fair. But anyway, it's 4:00, just after 4:00, and I do need to ring Rosemary and have a big chat with her because I want to see what's going on. But before I do, let's continue with the review. So we got to September. We moved to the office in the late September, was it? We went twice. We've been twice to the new office, but we've only been twice really, and I think, excuse me, it's going to be to the point where we will meet up, and it's going to be to the point where the new way, or the old way and the new way, will sort of work. So what I'm going to do is we'll meet in the library starting this week. We'll start using the library more to go get work done, and we'll meet in the library and we'll get the work done, and then we'll be going to my sister's in a few weeks, and then we'll meet and we'll discuss and we'll try and elaborate, get some stuff done, get some paperwork done, get some licensing and all the rest of that done. Because I'll get the licensing done for the see where the energy drinks company are. We can start working on them, and that's literally July, August stuff done. And then we can bugger off, have 2-3 weeks away from work, ready to come back and refresh. And yeah, and as you probably don't know, everyone's been hard to reach. So here's the thing: the new way that we're going to do it is we're going to meet every Friday, Saturday, whether that be in the library, whether that be at Rachel's. I mean, when we go to the office next, I will need everybody there. I'll need everybody there. Because the stuff I'll need to explain. Every time we're at the office, we'll need everybody there, and it's going to be busy. Every time we're at the office, it's going to be busy. Busy as hell, because we'll have customers going. I know in September, when we go, we got more and more and more and more customers coming in through our doors, which is what we like to see. So we'll have more and more customers, which means more and more work, and the workload will be like that. So we can't plod along anymore like we used to do. We've got to get the contracts done, and hard copies I am worrying about still, but I'm not going to lose sleep over hard copies. Why? Because it's got a new system. We're going to be using cloud-based stuff, Google, Teams, all that kind of stuff, all that really good stuff. All the contracts I'm going to stick in, I'm probably going to stick in Dropbox. Just on one massive big file. You know how Ray taught us to do it at the Make It Workshop? His advice was stick everything in one big file, which is the that's how the Outlook was done. And we can still do that with the project viewer. We can stick all the forms into one big file once we've done whatever. At the end of the day, when I've got it, I can stick it into one big file, one big document, and at the end of the year, I can just delete it, or delete it when I feel like, okay, and then build a new one. That's how it would be. But hopefully, the new project viewer will be in a document that we can all communicate and collaborate on. Well, that has been one long review that's covered everything, hopefully. And when we meet on video call, hopefully we can discuss on some of the problems and some of the solutions. But anyway, I'm going to go now because it's just after 4 o'clock. And I haven't done what I said I was going to do, but I've looked at this and I'm going to just delete all the crap, because I'll make a separate document with all of the things that I've mentioned. I'll screenshot it and everything, make a PNG, and then I'll stick it some. Oh, I forgot to mention, we did Sound City, and we did in the last 2 ads, which I think was Sound City and March, and then we did Crew Classics, which was those are the last 2 ads I think we've done. We've got the energy drinks ad to do. I've got to do the contracts and everything, so I'll probably do that in the new cloud system we're working on. I wanted to do the contracts on the VTech Genio, so I might do the contracts on that. I don't know yet. I've got to think really hard. I'll do all the contracts and the business letters to that on there, and then on here I'll do the project viewer, the feedback forms, all the copyright for the ads themselves, and the reports I can do on here. But yeah, because other stuff I can just whatever. I'll still do pictures for Facebook still, but there are all the other bits that and then the other laptop which I was using for the emails and stuff, which I'll still do that, and then anything that needs signing, I'll just put in an email and whatever, and then you can sign it on a PDF and then send it back. You can take a picture of it and sign it and then send it back. And if it's something you don't like, tell me in a message. And then if it's something you do like, whatever. So I made this video not just for freelancers and people that work, the people that just work for us, work from home. But I've also made this video for the customers, so they can see what we do and how we work, and then the new way of working, because the old way isn't working anymore. It just isn't. So we're going to meet every Friday, whether it be at the library or this Friday I think we're going to meet here. No, this Friday we're going to do the library. The following Friday we'll meet here. I'll tell you why. Then all the Fridays after. So it's, because, and we do need to be taking work with us. That's another thing, but yeah. So we do need to be taking work with us, and when I go to Rachel's, I'll be taking like 2 or 3 laptops with me and all that jazz when I go to Rachel's. But when I go to the library, I'll just be taking the 2 laptops and the little tablet. But I do need to go through everything. I just never have a chance to do it. I think I should really. I think in the morning when I get out of bed, I should just do it because otherwise it just won't. Whatever you. Because there's the whole thing. That's something else for another day. I'm really really sorry for this whole scatty presentation, but I hope you've stuck with me and I hope you've learned something. All right, bye for now.